person. Instead of paying an officer, we can pay half the price and send one of them guys.
Well, thank you. You find any shade out there, chicken pen? Well, you got a shelter, you had a shelter house.
A little warmer it is this morning.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh, thank you.
What's the item number 12 about today?
It's probably a parcel that we own with tax certificates that they'd like to buy back and for us forgive the taxes so someone can afford to.
I'm just curious.
Kind of like the house a block or so over here
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Yep.
Is what I am presuming.
Well, what we did there worked because he come and paid his taxes.
Yeah, it's back in his
Yeah,
name now.
right. And that's the whole thing about it, is just getting them back to
Get it back
square
on.
one again, yeah. Get them
Yeah,
back.
cause I seen him over Ramon the other day, and I thought, that's still ours, I looked it up, and his name was
Yeah,
on it. So.
yeah.
You guys want me to see if Vicky's available to come over? For number 12 or?
We have any printouts or anything on that parcel?
We probably will have to,
Cause I don't know what.
or she can call over.
I don't know where that's at.
Or Zoom. Yeah, she's usually here with Zoom. Let's do it that way. Save her. Well, I say it's time to stand up and start getting this show on the road.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, with that, I'll call the meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for May 9th.
Second,
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Alright,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May 2nd.
second.
Okay, we got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we wanna go to meetings attended?
Had a quiet week that week. Last week I got Board of Health today, so I have to go attend that one. And Brian was just in here and reminded me the Lower Cedar Watershed was tonight. Not sure if I'll be able to make that one, but I might see if Brian wants to go up for me.
And where is that?
West Liberty.
Okay. And that's the one that,
Yeah, I can't make it tonight, but I'd like to go up to it.
Yeah, I got other commitments tonight.
what you mean? Okay. Well, I think Brian can cover it for now.
Well, I'm gonna send them an email, because I think they were a little, I'm the representative apparently, and they were a little standoffish when he approached him, and I'm just gonna say, hey, he's gonna attend in my absence, and get the information, and so,
And maybe give me 2 weeks notice or,
yeah, well,
or who knows?
they are pretty good about sending notices out, but it's usually a week or so, and
Okay.
I just have other things that need to be taken care of. And the Lower Cedar Watershed isn't on my radar right now. My daughter's graduation is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brad, how about
I had had a couple of walking development last week. And we're just working on, trying to get some bids from the city on, city annexation. Looks like about $3 million to do roads and stuff, so we gotta look at something different, so try to get some different funding, so. We just got our not-for-profit status.
you?
That's good, so we're trying to get some grants, so working on that. Working on bidding, got a hold of them yesterday on the piping for the out there at the sheriff's office area for the offices to replace that piping out to the lunchroom and to back to the boiler room. They haven't got back to me yet. They're doing spray foam around eaves all the way around, try to get that. We decided not to do the spray foam around the ceiling just due to the fact that it would pretty much stop any type of electrical repairs or anything because we'd covered up the foam. So we decided to just do the other side, change the roofing, get a roof deck on it because the roof is failing. And then we had conservation meeting yesterday. We opened up the ag bids and they I think we was getting around 15, I'm off my number just a little bit, around 15,000 a year. We're up to 27.5, so it was worthwhile to do the bidding. Got that done.
Did you get any new tenants or the same tenants?
New tenants.
Okay.
New tenants. And I think that's
Every 3 years, 5 years.
well, we never did it before at all. Now we set it up for every 3. I don't think it's ever been rebidded since
Yeah, I
we
think
started.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. But no, we had 7 bids. I'm not sure. I think 7 total bids.
Good.
Yeah, so it worked out pretty well. What else we got going on? Conservation, we got, just trying to think here, I handed you,
You want your notes or?
well, no, I got another one here. I just brought that in for you guys to look at. Land survey, yeah, that's, we're gonna rebid that land survey just before we can get some fence up. You remember a couple years back, yeah, I mean, Sean, this is what, on Indian Slough, we had an opportunity to, it was a flood mitigation program.
EWP.
Yeah, and we didn't have our boundary points and stuff, but it ever comes up again, and then the state's gonna possibly acquire some land when they do that bridge, and we just need to know where all of our points are at. And it's around a 30,000 plus project, but we think it's necessary. We've never really had a property assessment with pins and stuff, so we're gonna put pins and stuff in that area. And I think it's good that any of our properties that we have,
You know where the boundaries are.
yes, yes. And out there, you think I always thought it was pretty straightforward, but till you get looking at it, there's a lot of little chunks of land in the middle of it that somebody else's owned besides the county, so that even makes it a little bit more questionable sometimes. She has it's not really a budget amendment, we're just moving money around in her account, so she's gonna do that. Other than that, it was good. We're gonna try to do meetings in every park, try to pick different parks. But I think, Eden Park, we're getting they got the electricity in, reported they was gonna put it in, REC's right on top of it, got pole set, got electricity out there. Jeff Hackett, we're putting a drinking fountain out there, getting that on there, lines are all ran, and then start working on the shelter someplace out there. And then once we get that completed and get everything that the group wants to do out there, we'll move to another park and stay focused and get that one done too. And but other than that, it's a pretty good meeting. That's I think that's everything.
I'm not surprised you did. Usually about this time of year, you're talking about how much money to put in the land acquisition fund.
We're gonna make our first payment in July back to us
For
the $40,000 for the maintenance property. We'll start doing that every year. It's in our budget this year, so at July 1st, we'll get 40,000 put back into our account. Sean, we loaned them 300 and was it 350?
Not, I don't think it was quite that much.
But it's right around that. We loaned it out of our a building fund that we had for the county home sale to buy that land up in Avius, and then they're gonna pay us back 40,000 a year starting July. So that'll continue every year. We'll put 40,000 in the budget to pay back that into the account. So we'll just have to keep it running total, just for you to know, but that starts after July 1st. We'll get that all done and. Gonna put that in there, so we're moving forward on that, so, good question.
Was there agenda again, question? Okay, I had nothing, got a busy week this
I
week.
did have one other thing. I met with Tracy over at the courthouse, and we looked at all the windows upstairs. They did a great job caulking downstairs, looks great. Upstairs is still a little janky. I think we need to get him back, and some of the weep holes on the south side are caulked over. That's why them windows are leaking, I'm sure, so.
Yep, it is. But he didn't take care of that when he was there.
Yeah, he needs to, they put really small beads of caulk on it, and it doesn't allow for flex. He needs to get a wider bead on there. He needs to look at the example on the first floor on how to caulk. And if he has a problem with making them straight, put some tape down. You can cheat a little bit when you caulk, so.
Caulking is.
If he needs help, I know how to do that. So I'll show him how if he.
But we shouldn't have to.
That wasn't.
I
part of-
know,
that
I
wasn't
just
part
think-
of the bid.
I'm not saying everybody's born.
And I was hoping Tracy, because I told him, instead of me having to be over there, that he would go over there and show him what the problems were.
We looked at every window.
But I mean, with
Yeah,
him,
and then the ones up in the attic aren't the greatest either, but I'm a little less picky on the ones in the attic because nobody sees. As long as they're not leaking, I'm not real worried about them. But the ones in the courtroom.
I'll just have him go over there again, but Tracy needs to point it out.
Yeah,
I don't have the time.
I think every single window needs something. So.
We'll keep holding his toes to the
Yeah,
fire,
right.
doing his right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for meetings attended. Let's hit this special claim. Hand it around before we can make an action.
I've seen, everybody's seen the payroll changes, so.
Yeah, the payroll changes, we had three part-time deputies are go to $15 an hour, which
It was in his budget.
Yeah.
was in his budget, was in the policy handbook. It was,
I called him right after the meeting
I thought
last week.
yeah, I think we was all clarified by middle of the afternoon on last Tuesday on our questions. So that's,
This is fuel. The special claim
I haven't looked at it.
I haven't seen it yet either.
says fuel purchases,
What department?
emergency management.
Is it a budgeted item?
He, didn't pay too much of his bills. He said that he didn't see the emails.
I get in trouble when I do
Wax, WEX. Who is Wax?
It used to be Finish Line Fuels. It's our,
Okay,
gas card.
all right.
They give us
It says Wex Bank.
yeah. And they choose, they bought out
You can,
Finish Line
you will
Fuel.
send it that way then.
We get an excise tax credit and
$300 a month in fuel. A lot of fuel. Where we going?
I'll be damned.
Yeah, he travels to meetings.
Okay,
He's probably to Iowa City,
okay.
different places.
Fair enough. Truck doesn't get mileage. I drive a truck, so I understand.
Mhm.
Maybe I ought to get him an electric car or something.
That is good.
One of them little two-seater things. Smart.
Yeah, they'll throw it out here.
One day only, and they think, I believe that she's been out there before and done this before.
And is this a building or just a?
You know where R7 is? It used to be,
Rice Holdens.
yeah,
Barn.
Okay,
Holdens.
it's a barn.
yeah,
I never knew what it was called.
yeah, and it's like an
Okay.
antique shop type thing now.
As long as that's a residence, a building. not on the street.
Well,
good.
there's, yeah.
They set up a lot of tents there, stuff like that.
No, exactly, I just never heard it called that.
I've been, so I couldn't think of that word, thank you.
Chair, is it okay if I do 14?
Yes, or I handed it to you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the Class C liquor license for the Tipsy Travelers LLC. It's one weekend. And R7, the barn located on Cemetery Road right outside of Grand, you just right at the edge of Grand Views.
I'll
So it must be
second,
out in the country.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's that one. I handed you each an ambulance report, and here is the special claim to look at.
So we just. Should that go to you?
Hmm?
In the future,
Pardon, what?
the bill? Instead of going to his email, maybe it should go
Well, it
to
goes
the
to,
auditor. and then you
there's
send it
other
out.
departments that receive the same bill.
You think that's the good way they're doing
Well, if they're an adult, they should be able to read their own email. Cause it hasn't been a problem before.
it? Like, but I'm just saying, should it go to one central thing and then we send them, that way you have the original? I'm just asking the
Yeah,
question.
to
me, I think it needs to go to
we haven't had problems with the other departments.
One
so I don't
place.
know.
and then somebody's always overlooking the hen's nest. But it's just an idea.
Okay,
It's like meetings. I wish I had somebody overlooking my meetings every day or I wouldn't miss a couple. Because I don't look at my emails when I'm working all day. I mean, I'm working.
I'm usually working, it flashes up meeting in half an
Yeah,
hour.
somebody puts an emergency meeting an hour away. Can you make it?
By the end of the day, I'm too tired to read them anyway.
I wish I had somebody just,
Oh, oh.
I know it's lazy, but. Okay. Sean, you wanna do that one?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the special claim for Wex Bank. What do the amount? 600 and something?
665.94.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, now we looking over the ambulance reports and we're kind of gonna be on. Hope Adam gets here to maybe before we start our 9:15s. There's several. Grandview bypass, I think we ought to have, I think Adam will probably bring the bids, because I'm not seeing any. And then he'll probably talk with us about the,
15.
and also, number 9.
About that 15.
Well, that's the one
you
we've been
Yeah.
tabling it. And I haven't seen anything
I
from
don't
him.
either, that's what I was saying, I don't see anything. Is it anything in your packet?
No. But there is. For item 12, here is. I can start passing that around, I guess. Quite a bit of back taxes here. On that item, on that. Pretty much. 4,170.
Wow.
Well, that happened.
Is there anything on that property?
It looks like here by the next page or two, there's a house on it. Residential dwelling. J&S Properties LLC.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, here we go again.
Well,
So far, I'm on the no side.
well,
That's so much for several communities.
Yeah, they sit right in the middle of them all, huh?
Why does that name keep coming up like a bad penny?
Cause it is a bad penny. And it seems like every time government bails them out. Waffle bail them out basically,
Then we had to take him to court multiple times just to get anything to happen.
but you basically,
That's the only thing he understands is the judge.
I ain't saying I ain't over my head on a lot of things, but I make sure my obligations are kept.
If you can't afford the properties, get rid of them, you know?
Well, we gotta do his homework before he starts buying stuff on the tax that way.
Well, that's what he does. Goes around and buys. it.
Right, but he don't do no
No,
homework.
Do nothing to them either.
no. If you can rent them out, he'll rent them out until they fall down. Or catch
No matter
fire.
difference if they have water or
Nope,
sewer or
nope.
still rinsing
Nope.
electricity.
Do not listen to what he tries to tell you because it is a lie.
Tells you what you wanna hear.
Yeah.
No, he should be a politician.
Yeah. Oh, that's up on the hill.
Any politician like that be hung in their tree out there.
That's up on the hill down on Main Street.
Yeah,
I recognize that house.
I wanna see what they're gonna do with it. If they're gonna sell it and then. I don't want government to have a property. Why would that make sense?
Well, if nothing else, they should at least reimburse our taxes. I mean, at bare minimum.
Bare minimum. That's why I want to kind of find out, because the government don't need to transfer to government.
To make a profit.
We can sell it just as well as.
Yeah, right. You can have a tax sale just like anybody else.
yeah, oh, yeah, but it's in their town, they're probably wanting, it's probably getting to be an eyesore, that's probably a good picture of it.
Probably, you're probably right.
They're probably wanting to make it. Trying to make their town better. We'll have to hear the sales pitch.
I want to hear
I mean, I'm all for getting stuff back on the tax roll. That's what helps everybody. You know,
Right.
that's,
Well, the Burlington paper last week, I think it was Lee County, the headline read, you know, government giving something else to government, to the city of Keokuk or Fort Madison. Well, it was a house that had, they forgive the taxes so that something could be done with it.
yeah, right.
But the headline made it look like the county was gonna give
Yeah.
the city something, taxpayer money. We'll
Well,
listen to the
if we
story.
have to, we'll have an auction and sell it. Somebody. Get their money back.
We'll just,
Town can bid on it.
we'll just listen to the options and try to,
I mean, I'm trying to recoup the tax, the back taxes is what I would like to see at least. You know,
That's a lot of
and
money.
get it back on the tax roll again. Doesn't do any good just sitting there.
Our government functions by this tax.
That's right, that's how it works. But we don't want it tied up in limbo for another
No,
4 or
but
5
we
years
could have
either.
a sell just as
We
well.
wanna get it back
Yeah.
into somebody's hands that will do something.
Burlington does it all the time. They have sales
Mhm.
and people buying.
Yeah,
Do we have any
So
input from
how
the
long-
public here? Come on, guys.
how long did that be on there before it goes to that? It's gotta be 4 or 5 years, doesn't it? Before it kicks over? It's gotta be a while.
It's usually quite a while.
But see, we don't see this list. We don't get a list to show every property in the county. We have to do this on our own.
The only reason we got that is because the city wants.
Well, I mean, we don't get a notice, hey, there's another property over at Plymouth Junction that has a house on it.
Why don't we have a list every year of the ones that are delinquent?
I'd like to have it.
That way we can stay up on them. Maybe we can go to Columbus and say, hey, you can have these 3 properties if you pay back all the back taxes.
We
you can
hire an
put 'em-"
auctioneer and go around and start
Whatever.
selling it.
Right, we need to be brought up to speed on that.
Cause we need to have
We need
more
to
due
know.
diligence on this.
We need to know. Can we have, is Vicky on there?
No,
Nope.
Can we have her do that for us every year to?
I did it on trailers, I got. the
And maybe
trailers.
it's July first,
I'll
the
leave
new,
the meeting day of what you need.
new year.
And what is that you wanna know,
The ones that are gonna be hitting
Tax sales?
tax sales. And the properties, so we can,
This is
keep up
all.
on
Okay, I'll be a couple
I
hours.
went around and looked at most of these.
All right, see ya.
I had her get this list so she could do that, but this is all
Right.
mobile homes that's delinquent.
yeah, I would like to see. One on mobile homes, one on commercial property, one on residential, and have a running list.
Well, and also too, I'd like to see ones that have a house on it, maybe you start having.
It's like that property over here, Helen, it's sat there forever, and nothing,
But
nobody was
nobody
doing
knew.
it, yeah, right. It was only, I drive by, I'm like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I start doing the searches on it and find out it's been 6 or 7 years.
That one's stinky.
So it'd be nice to have that,
Yeah,
and we can keep up on that stuff.
yeah, because on that house there, with the frontages on 2 frontages on that, you couldn't put much of a house.
Yeah.
Cause when Cronfeld's had that, that was a small house with a basement. With a garage, little 1-car Model T garage.
Yeah, see if she can't provide that every year.
Yeah, I think we ought to have an option.
Well, we can decide that once we have the list.
So,
We've got ones that are, been hanging out there for years. Yeah, let's get them back on a tax roll, put them in somebody's hand.
That's, yeah, I think.
They don't do any good just sitting there.
nope,
Make them profitable.
Adam Cottle, we're ready whenever you are.
so they ended up with 4 calls, morning sun. Yesterday was a bad day.
Oh,
Carol
take that back.
Yes.
Good wreck on 92.
Yeah. They're trying to get a helicopter out of Burlington and it wouldn't fly. They finally got one out of Iowa City. Foggy? They said it was overcast and they couldn't fly. I don't know. So they got the Iowa City one and I heard somebody passed away. Heard that wreck on 92.
Oh, and that, car crash.
Pretty ugly, yeah. And then an hour later, somebody fell in the river down in Oakville, drove a truck into something like.
Really? I've seen
Irish
Commerce Junction people go by
They
yesterday.
were going nuts. I don't know what it was all about.
And then the night of the wind, that storm, we had 2 fires in town.
We did?
Yes,
Was it in town or south town?
south of town and then one, a garage.
I thought it was a tornado.
I did too. I looked and seen that black
Yeah.
fume and I'd seen that people going over at that Zedek tornado. Cause it's a big black cyclone
Right?
and it was smoke,
Yeah,
but it was several hundred feet in the air.
it was.
It looked like a tornado. I ain't kidding you. I was just about ready to call 911, tell everybody to take cover, cause it looked like, you seen it too.
Yeah, sirens are going off. It's like, holy smokes, this,
It was way, and it was huge. It was black.
yeah.
And I thought, what the heck is that? We don't have a black turd around here. So I thought, what? the heck
Not
is
south of
that?
Walpole. Maybe south of Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minneapolis has black dirt, but not south of Wampum, but. No, but it was, somebody said there was a fire, 2 fires, it was a garage over by the river.
Yeah, there was one south, that dark cloud that I saw, that
Yeah.
you saw, and then there was one on the Jason side, on the west side of 61
At the same time.
at the same time. So,
That's weird.
really unusual.
That's strange.
All right, good morning, everyone. As you can read by my notes, current working, 18 claims. So we've knocked out a few. You can also see that we have finally breached that $250,000 amount per month for compensation and pen. As good as that is, that can reduce as people pass on and those benefits do go away. Budget, we're currently at 82%. CDSO replacement. Our ad started on the 27th of April and will continue through May 11th. I've got 3 applications right now. All 3 are pretty strong candidates for the position. Our commission will review these applications on May 18th and they'll do the interviews during the June meeting. And they'll make a selection on that, on the 15th of June. The tentative start date for the new CVSO is Thursday, July 6th. And that CVSO will attend the accreditation class in August 21 through 26. Outreach, I had 117 contacts since our last brief. I did 7 home visits, 8 office visits, 2 hospital visits, 1 nursing home visit. Speaking of nursing home, we currently have 30 that has not changed. CJ has 13, Waffle 11, Winston has 6. Our planning continues for the 23-24 outreach. We're making head steam towards Memorial Day. I'm working in conjunction with the American Legions and the VFW for the ceremonies and planning on flags. And we're going to do it again this year what we did last year for those all but forgotten cemeteries, locating those veteran graves and putting a flag on that grave. Fourth quarter assistance. We're at $1,413. We have 1 for rent, $350, 1 for utilities, $225, 1 for food for $88, and 1 other, and that was a funeral expense for indigent family. And we pledged $750 towards that expense. And that makes a world of a difference for a family that doesn't have the wherewithal to, take care of those expenses. Van right now is about 69,000 miles, good working order. We're still coordinating rides for Louisa County veterans. It's running very smooth. Training and travel for this FY, the annual conference is scheduled June 4 through 8 in Madison, Wisconsin. I won't be attending that, and my replacement will be attending that conference via Zoom. Fall school is tentatively set for October 16 through 19, and I did attend the Waco VFW meeting last night. Again, we're talking about Memorial Day activities, and I gave some VA information on dependency and indemnity compensation, also known as DIC. What DIC is the surviving spouse of a veteran who passes, whose death is service connected and caused by his service. That spouse, surviving spouse, is eligible for a pension benefit, which is about $1,400+ a month right now, and that stays with that spouse until she passes. And there's some other health benefits, CHAMP VA, civilian health benefit that they can also apply for and get. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 18th, 10 a.m. Of course, you're always welcome to attend.
What's the rules for that if the spouse takes it? Usually the spouse has a lower, it seems like they always have a lower social security. Does that affect their social security? Okay.
Comp Ben is completely separate.
Okay, so it does not penalize.
Does not penalize them.
That's good, it's a good thing.
Who makes a determination whether it's service related or not?
VA.
Okay.
And that's predicated on what's on the death certificate. It doesn't have to be the cause of death. It just has to show a contributing factor or underlying condition, diabetes, for example.
Yeah.
For a Vietnam veteran.
Gotcha.
That would be fine.
Good deal. Good deal.
Korean War veteran as well.
Well, if they were injured while on active duty and serving in Korea, if that injury was contributed to their death or the underlying cause, yes.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your update. Okay, we've been reviewing the ambulance reports or.
Yeah.
I just seen Morning Sun's on one I seen.
Sorry, I had Waffle here somewhere. But here it is. You think we could get a better breakdown of their payroll? Yeah,
Of,
Morning Sun.
That's what I say we get.
There's 2,500 bucks, and there's no.
No checks.
10 calls.
Well. I think somebody gets a paycheck every month.
I have no doubt. I would just like to see that, I guess. I'm probably not gonna be very happy about that.
That's why I said there's two books, because that one book don't show anything paid,
They show their checks that they write out for insurance and,
but don't show payroll.
Should they just show the expenses?
That's why I said that the other day when
Oh,
I got
sorry.
criticized, there's two sets of books, because I never see.
it shows the amount, it doesn't show where it's going. Could you send a note to Tom and see if we can get a breakdown next month of payroll?
Yep.
That we get all of his other copies of his checks for all of his other expenses, it's just that, not payroll.
Okay.
Well, Adam, I guess when you're ready, we're ready. Is it? There isn't no specific time on opening these bids, is it?
No, it's supposed to be 9 o'clock,
Okay,
but
There you go, 9:03.
we're good, it's after 9 o'clock, so that's fine. So, this is for the 160th intersection. North of Grandview. My estimate, I don't recall off the top of my head, was like 125 or something like that, that's what it is. We have two bids, Jones Contracting Corporation out of West Point.
Jones.
That, so. Jones had the bid bond, everything looks okay. Jones Contracting Corporation, everything looks good, their bid, $146,777.00. $146,777.00.
Gotcha.
Concrete 9950 square yard. The other one is from Hire. We've done a lot of work around here. UT bid bond, looks good to me. Higher concrete. 1,001, I'm sorry. $115,349.10.
Wow.
115,349.10. So that's. About where I. So, just for reference, concrete is $86.60 a square yard. So. That's where most of the cost is, so. Anyway, I will review these and we'll make a recommendation to award next week, so.
As it appears they're a little better though.
Yeah, that's wrong. I sent it out to all past bidders that we've had, also under the DOTs, or the Iowa County Engineers, Service Bureau that has a list of all DOT pre-qualified bidders for concrete work. I sent it to them. Included some locals on the email addresses. Also reached out to some other folks I'd worked with up in Muscatine to try to cast as wide of a net. It kind of ended up the way I thought it was, and perfectly fine with it.
A
So
lot of work going on.
yeah, so
It's good.
so okay. Moving on, so on the, I know we got the Gladwin thing on there. I talked to Mr. Bloomer last week or so about this after the board meeting, and he said he had talked to the neighbors and nobody had any complaints.
about it. I said, I don't wanna start this up and have people come down here and get upset with us and all that. I said, you know, the board's a little skeptical about doing these kind of things again. And at the end of the day, I guess it's your decision if you wanna allow them to buy right away for the purpose of having a bigger yard for a trailer, or if you just wanna come down. It's up to me, or not up to me, it doesn't matter to me that much, so it's a zoning issue.
I wanna get it back on a tax roll, but I don't wanna. We seem like we've always, every time in that area, we've always offended somebody else by doing it. I'd like to give everybody a chance that's interested in it.
Well, the public hearing process should let that
Should
happen.
happen, and we're not gonna give it, we're gonna sell it like we did on the land on top of the hill, so.
So the determination I would probably make is figure out, you know, what. The way we've done in the past, is figure out what that corn, what the CSR, that value goes for, and 100 if 100 CSR is 15 grand an acre, and this is 34, you just take out 34% of that, and that's what it is. I mean, I don't know what. Or if it's 87, you know what I'm saying, it's just a ratio of that, and I don't.
How did we determine the price per acre on top of the hill, whether,
On top of that,
we're looking going down,
I think that's what the DNR was gonna pay them, so.
so we.
Here,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took that value. I thought we came up with
I didn't have anything to do.
yeah, the DNR was gonna pay him for that easement, so
Pay
much an
her.
acre, and we figured out how many acres and
Yeah.
alleys and streets.
we found out backwards
Yeah.
how that was being sold. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so.
Do we remember what that was? No.
Well, that's 2 or 3 years ago, look what real estate's done, even good or, whether
I
it's
mean-
timber or ag ground.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, pretty much,
We're not talking enough to.
pretty much non-farmable floodplain bottoms and all that. I mean, it's not worth much of anything, but it does have value just to the principle of we're not giving
There is a value.
land away, yeah. So if it's a couple grand, it's a couple grand. I mean, he's gotta decide if he even wants to pay for that couple grand or not.
It was like 12 acres. Out there at Twosboro, and we got like a grand an acre, which was, or 1,200, like what the easement was.
I was thinking we got 3,000, but I might confuse that.
No, it was 12 grand
I meant per acre, I thought we got
Well,
more
like
than that
that,
per acre.
for timber, that, about that time probably wasn't
Yeah.
a.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, so do you wanna proceed with the?
Yeah,
I would.
Hearing?
I mean, we want to get it back on the tax roll, but we want to make sure everybody's notified in that area that,
Yeah,
and then we got to come up with a price. Before we do
yeah,
before we have a public hearing.
right, I mean, the public hearing is what, 3 weeks after the thing is noticed or something like that?
Gotta be-
14 days, I believe.
You do a sealed bid? That was bid on it?
No, you can't really do that because there's nobody else but a bid against, I guess, on that thing. It's such a isolated piece that really doesn't
Okay.
have.
Can we get a appraisal on that for what it would be worth?
I think it would
We have
be
to,
the cheapest way to do it would be to have us figure what we bought right away for last time. And just do the math to.
The CSR.
Yeah,
why don't we do that before we set a public hearing? That way we know.
Okay.
What we'd sell it for, and then we have a public hearing, and that way everybody would know what we're asking for it.
yeah, that's fine. I can make that and maybe reach out to contact him and say, hey, are you still interested if it's gonna cost you? You know, it's a quarter of an acre, so it might be $1,800 or something, you know, whatever it is. And the answer would be yes or no, I guess, so
And we just gotta be fair to everybody.
that's fine. All right, well,
Are we gonna table that?
Again, yeah, somebody in a
Do you
motion
need a motion to table
Make a motion to table this for the third time.
there you go.
To get cost of.
it?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion second, all in favor?
I hate tabling shit.
I do too.
Well, but we're,
Working through it.
Yeah.
So next week's, Selena, we will have the budget amendment, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, cool. And I realized, talking to Joellen, that for you guys, it might not be a true budget amendment, because there's no other money coming in or out, but for the DOT thing, I have to have it as a
Yes.
budget amendment,
Yeah.
so.
Did you turn in anything Friday to be amended?
I thought I sent you some, if I didn't, I will.
It might
send you
went to
that.
Sandy's email and I might not have gotten.
John
it.
said she did, so, last week, so.
Okay, I don't know,
Okay.
I'll check that out, so,
Thank you.
okay. Next item, I guess, is this deal with the Muscatine Island levy drainage district. I don't know, so back when Larry was here, he was on this email chain for this Muscatine Island levy improvement deal. Where some of the interests up in Muscatine County were looking to improve the levy from the city down to the county line. I think at one time they did look at coming down in West County, but apparently economics or whatever made that difficult. Again, this was before my time. There was an original plan that was I caught wind of that basically was looking at options for what to do for it. Was talking about, building up around Monsanto to protect it, or building some sort of a cutoff levee from the bluff all the way to that. Also talk of improving levee all the way down to Michael Creek. And then there was one of improving part of it and then having some sort of spillway in Woods County. This would be down on the north side of Michael Creek, across from Hidden Acres, right in there. And apparently that's the route that they chose. They submitted to the Corps of Engineers for a 408 review. And that is a review process. He said, basically, hey, here's our proposed project. Seeking public comments on it. So I got that email like Friday afternoon. Like, oh, this is a big deal. So I forwarded it to you guys for review. The approximate project as I see it is they want to improve the levee from Muscatine City down to the Woods County line, raise that up a couple feet. Getting sand from Deep Lakes Park. And then doing nothing in the Wise County section until they get down to that corner, if everybody knows where that corner is. The Act 61 comes down Port Hill, turns east and then turns north. It's right in there. Right in there. Looking at the engineering documents, I don't know what this looks like, if the intention is to lower our levee and then build some sort of a hardened structure and then use the pumping station pumps to pump it back in.
That is the correct.
Okay, well, I'm just saying this engineering document doesn't tell me that, but I think that is to be inferred.
I was on this group, going to the meetings for 2 years until they talked about flooding in Louisa County, and then I told Randy was here, then I told both you supervisors what they was looking at doing, that I wasn't really for. We was gonna take the blunt of every high water event.
They're using us for the overflow.
And I tried to get them to look at the Big Timber Lake area, but they chose the land in front of it, which would take all of our residents and everything that could. It could make it a bad deal, it could bring our farmland, could cause problems with the future. So I chose not to go to the meetings anymore due to the fact that, it was not benefiting Louisa County.
You didn't like the direction they were going.
No, because it was not, it was good for them, but I don't think it was good for our taxpayers.
I think the document that they have, it implies that. You know, what's gonna happen is water will come over the levee and it'll pump it back out there, which. We all know that in order for water to get over the levee, it's gotta be high enough to get over the levee, and it's gonna come in here. And you can't pump it back out, cause it's just gonna come back in. So what'll have to happen is it's gonna have to sit there for weeks or months. Until it's able to be pumped back out of there.
Was it 2 years ago that the Mississippi River stayed at a high level for
In
20 days or something like that? It was unbelievable.
2019, it was high that we had all that seepage and when we're having problems with it again. You know, what seepage up there to the south of the power plant is big. What comes through all those properties, and we're gonna have a trash issue once all that's done. I mean, there's all kinds
We'll look at it now.
of junk.
In
that-
the
that
low
floats.
lying area anyway, so.
Yeah. So,
Safe water's gonna float the junk to the culverts.
actually, those culverts that we put in on X61, there's about that much space in there, but it's
Keeping up so far.
it's gonna work, so it's on its way down now, and it worked. I mean, that kept that road open, so it is great there.
You get a
But-
refrigerator block.
But, you know, the problem, I'm sure I'm just speaking to the choir here, is that even before that thing overtops, it's gonna be pumping months worth of seawater. And within the problem up there is the levee district is a separate entity from the drainage district.
And it don't go through the levee.
Right, and there's people that live inside of the levee area that do not pay drainage taxes. I think Monsanto was one of them, GPC is one of them. Most of the south end of
Airport's one of
Muscatine,
them.
Airport, Fruitland.
City of Muscatine does
all
not
of
pay.
it. So,
I know, and there's stormwater dumps into my creek.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
So I think we'd just be putting more of a burden on
well,
the drainage district.
what are we gonna do for, property taxes? And there's a lot of questions that needs to be answered. What's the farmers gonna do to lost production? We're taking a blot of all the water, and I think it needs to be better planned to put it into, maybe see if the feds wanna put it in that, federal area.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Island.
There's
Or,
a,
Refuge.
refuge, put it in Lake Odessa, the state, but they know they want to put it on the burden of our Lawrence County taxpayers.
I
I'm
don't,
talking to the choir.
yeah, I don't see why this project wouldn't have just been finished down in Michael Creek and
Exactly.
flood out the federal area down there. I don't understand.
Because the feds won't let them.
And I think so I wrote a draft letter. If you guys had a chance to read through it, kind of yet.
That's your draft of the
Yeah, so
front of it.
I kind of got us going, started, anybody want to read it, I guess, I don't know, whatever. But it says on May 5th, we received an email from the stakeholder levy group requesting comments on the proposed Muscatine Island project. Public notice 408 documents were downloaded and reviewed by the Louisa County Board of Supervisors today. To date, the project proponents have made no formal presentations to Louisa County. That's true, right? True. No formal presentations. Therefore, the Board of Supervisors is unable to fully review the merits of the proposal, which is true. In general, the project appears to sacrifice Louisa County flood protection to improve flood protection in Muscatine County. Proposal appears to treat a portion of Louisa County as a storage basin to hold water for weeks or months before being pumped back into the river after flooding has receded. The area currently experiences severe effects of excessive seepwater as evidenced in 2019-2013 high water events. The addition of contaminated floodwater to a currently insufficient conveyance and pumping system would only further damage Louisa County. Everybody agree with all that? After reviewing the information presented on the 408 notice, following comments have been offered, and I kind of went out on a limb, so if you guys don't agree or want me to amend it, that's fine. We believe this loss of flood protection in Louisa County is unacceptable as the overtopping would damage residents, farmland, and public infrastructure. I mean, it's gonna hurt the houses, that farming operation potentially wash out X61. cause traffic to be rerouted other routes.
Anytime water's over top of road, it does damage to the
Yeah.
road beds forever.
And there's no proposal, no discussion of reimbursement or cleanup or anything like
Or
that.
tax loss.
We believe any loss in flood protection would limit the current and future economic viability of Muscatine Island portion of Louisa County, which would damage the county as a whole. Obviously, losing that, we lose it, the feds come in and they want to buy it up, and also we got another refuge down there. And, there's been talk about solar projects, there's been talk about port down there, there's other. That this might lead to that area getting
$400 million investment. And it just got approved, the state on that power plants. So what's the name of that, Beckel and? Anyway, that was one of them that got approved through the state to get $394 million for solar.
So, if that were to ever happen or something else happened, let's say there'd be another expansion of some, river terminal or something like that, that would all make that impossible.
Yeah.
So that plus in addition to us, the county losing it, outside of L&M school, I've been down the last few mornings, and there's a lot of kids that go to school down there, and that would hurt them. It's just all around bad for us. We believe that such a proposal should have included considerations and good faith negotiations with Louisa County, as well as affected public and non-public entities. My point there is, if they're gonna do this, why didn't they talk to us to see if there's something that we would want to make this a complete project, extend that levee all the way down. Work with getting all the landowners into the drainage district and all that. Shouldn't they have talked to us about it, right? Okay. We believe all future discussions must include Louisa County as a partner with the goal of benefiting all public and private stakeholders, right? We request all relevant engineering, economic, and environmental analysis to be presented to the Louisa County in a reasonable manner to allow us to provide more detailed comments. Like it shows to us there's a low point in pumping, and is that even going to work? What level of flooding are they going to give us before we? I'm worried as an engineer of commenting on something, and you didn't see all the engineering data. Well, we don't have all the engineering data. We haven't been presented with anything. So I would say our comments are going to be negative because we have no clue what's going on there. So
There's not one thing of this whole project that benefits Louisa County.
right.
Not one thing.
Right.
But Muscatine has everything to benefit.
Right. If it was gonna benefit Louisa County, maybe there could be a sump pumping station up by up by F Avenue or something, some other. If we were all on the same page, we could work on different pieces of this and make it better for everybody. Rather than, we'll let water go over in Louisa County and we'll pump it up before it creeps up in Muscatine.
The easy way out.
Well, and I don't, those industries are great, and a lot of the people work in Wapello. But if they can't get up there,
Can't get to work.
a lot of GPC's grain comes from the elevator here.
And we grow corn on the island.
Part of our bypass project here is it makes it easier to get to those industries. I guess.
Act 61 delivers a lot of grain to GPC.
Yeah, and a lot of workers up there too, so.
Fire it off.
I guess are you guys okay with this? Anything else? And I always struggle between how tone and being respectful and yet saying we are unhappy with this.
Well, we're not looking for a sugar-coated message here.
No.
Done fine.
Fire a warning shot across their bow.
Okay, well, I did talk to the guy at the Corps yesterday, and he's gonna be the guy who receives these. He said, it's not something the Corps is pushing, but there's a process for outside people to push. Having negative comments will be added to the public record. And I said, is there a possibility for something like this to be approved without the Louisa County's blessing? He said it's pretty rare unless the politicals got involved.
Uh-huh.
The way I understand it from Muscatine County is out of Chicago. Louisa County South is out of Kansas City.
I mean, it's all through I think that's for FEMA.
Yeah,
Well, it's also too, way I understood it, when they were talking about this, when I was in the meetings, I think the Corps' decisions too, it's a different type of funding.
He said that, you know, that depending on the side of the project, well, it can, the project can be done in the district out of Rock Island, but if it gets too big, it's gotta go down to the Vicksburg and then to the way up to the.
It's too big for Rock Island.
So. I've also heard, you know, well, there's problems if you raise the levy too much, it makes you. Or the other side of the river unhappy and all that. I'd say raise them all, put all that water down in Tennessee or something, but. I mean, just that, you know, there's no sense us flooding out our bottoms to protect.
Well, there's a plank levy there. There's other places they can put it.
You know, the same thing, Brandy and I went up to a meeting up with the Corps up at Iowa City a couple of years ago, and they're talking, well, you know, we'll build up all the flood protection in Iowa City, you know, to keep that valuable land from getting flooded, and we'll push it out and we'll just buy more floodplain down south. And I raised my hand. I raised my hand and it threw up a stink, and it was kind of, well, you guys don't know the value of your land, whatever, so. Anyway. I haven't been invited back, so maybe that was. Maybe that was part of the deal. Other than that, we are getting into ditching and pinching work on the roads. You know, a pinching, we have roads that, you know, start out as 24, 26 foot wide, they get wider and they get these secondary ruts into them. You know, we bring them back to 26 and blade up the edges and try to maintain a good crown. You know, there's always commentary, well, what about the farmers that have to pass each other? And I said, you know, that is a real concern. But that's only a couple of weeks a year. We try to make the roads the best we can for 52 weeks out of the year. Having a tighter, more crown road and helps it to drain, helps reduce our blading effort, our rocking effort, and just makes the roads better in general. So I'm sure there will always be complaints about it, but once we explain it to people, they're like, well, okay, that makes sense. You know, you go out there to M Avenue or 100 Street and all that, those roads are in so much better shape than they were back before we began doing this, which was kind of a thing I did, so.
they give me heck all the time. I said, well, we'll just raise taxes and make the road wider because it's gonna be more expensive to maintain. And then they kind of back off, and then after they learn to live with it for a year or two,
It's really,
they're liking it.
especially after the grass grows on it, it doesn't look so, you know,
Yeah.
without the grass, it does look stark, I guess is a term I'd like to say. But after it gets grass on there, it's not so bad, so. So,
On behalf of my road, it looked nice.
yeah, I mean.
I walked the road in it and it cut that edge off.
Mhm.
It's a lot easier to walk.
It helps that water to drain over, not along.
Yeah.
And.
I wish he'd have done it in front of my house, but I mowed that and I think he didn't want to damage it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk to him and say, hey, cut it off.
well, some people will come out and complain, my uncle. About it, he complained, what are you doing, people, I mean, he was angry about it afterwards, he's like, okay, it's not so bad, I'm like, there's not the potholes anymore.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that makes sense, but he was not happy about it. No. Other than that, have a pre-construction conference for the 160th gravel dirt portion tomorrow. So we're getting back into it now, so, for sure, so.
The tile's all done, it's just ready for dirt, right?
What's that?
What you're talking, the tile was done last fall.
Yo, yeah.
It's ready for dirt work.
Yep. Got that done, so. I don't know, lots of things going on, so hopefully I didn't forget anything.
They back working up north and that.
The bridge.
Nope. Okay, no.
Well, if we got questions, we all got your number.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, so. All righty, well,
We're
thank
gonna
you.
sign that right there. When are you gonna send that out?
Oh,
Letter. I'm
The
sorry,
letter.
your letter.
I can sign it out, I can send it out this week, I can take off the draft and just have you guys, so maybe you should make a motion to sign it. And then I'll find you individually and then just get you to sign it, I guess, so.
It's
I'll make a motion.
to sign,
Sign that, letter to the, US Army Corps of Engineers.
One second.
okay, yeah, motion in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll get her signed.
You gonna send over, one that has a draft on
Yep, okay, yeah. Do you want me to send it to the auditor and just have you guys do it, or do you want me to send it to her supervisor?
it? You can send that right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
do you guys have a formal county letterhead? I mean, I got one from the engineering department, but is there a formal, like, if I send you the Word document, could you copy and paste it, I guess?
Yeah, that's, send it to Sandy,
Okay,
because she's got, yeah, there's a letter.
okay,
And I'll call and tell her that it's coming and bring it over.
okay, that'd be great, so I'll run back and get that to you guys, so.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks.
Hey. Get that. You need to.
We have one of our employees who gets a 25-year recognition today. He did not want to attend.
No, that'll be, I believe, next week.
Okay,
It's
because
not on this one.
okay, well, I'm glad because I told him to be here, so he said no. So,
Yeah, my
That's fine.
email said for the.
okay.
Is that Jerry?
Rick.
Rick,
He didn't.
Well, that's.
If it's April, we could figure some way to talk to you.
Tell him thanks for the 25 years though.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll do.
I like my picture in the paper all the time anyway, so I don't. Jim.
I think it's not the sheriff's report, it could be, wasn't it?
oh, good point.
At least we're not in orange when they took our.
Yeah,
picture.
right.
Well, I guess now that brings us to,
Put Mark's picture in the paper for this article.
We don't need that.
bring,
Seems like I spent all my time down here.
you've been here a lot this winter, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to item 12. About your sales tax deal, or your tax,
Property tax.
property tax on.
I'm like, your sales tax deal, I'm leaving. 'cause I'm-
Misspoke here, your delinquent taxes on a house in the junction.
Did Sandy, I made copies, did Sandy give you?
I
Okay,
got this one here.
okay, well, I made more if you guys.
That was great, we need all the pictures we can get.
Well, I kind of tried to break it down to make it easier to understand, but tax sales are never.
Our
easy.
first question was, where was it at? And I saw a picture of it and I recognized halfway up on the hill there, yeah.
There's somebody living there.
No, not now. Hasn't been for about a year.
Now, is that the one they just replaced the water line going to? Just recently?
Right by there.
Okay, right next to it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I thought somebody's living there, because I thought that's the one they had a broken water main on.
The house just south of that is the one we did.
Next one in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's probably been empty, I would think, for at least a year. I see that gentleman's in your count here in town just as much as it is ours. I went to digging around to see what others, because yes, the name is very familiar. And I think that's the only property in Columbus Junction that he has.
I'll look for sure. I know he has some left too. I think.
You're very lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He owns a lot in Wapello and you have to take him to court to make him do anything. Yeah, and this is gonna cost, you know, but depending on what everybody decides and everything, you know, it's probably cheaper to get.
Oh, it's 5,000.
So the back taxes on this property is 4,100 and change?
No, it's
Here's
5,900.
The total that's owing on it right now is $5,912. That was in April when I figured this for Sandy, so it's a little more now. The tape I have on there kind of breaks it down. The top portion, the 4,174, these figures are from April, so they'll be a little higher now that we're in May, but that's the county tax portion. Then in the center, there's two, the city has two city specials against it. That, there's like $404 that the city would have to, they would eat that. And then down at the bottom, the 1334, that's the interest on that tax sale and on those taxes. So that, adding the 4174, the 404 and the 1334, you come up to the 5912 that's owing.
How long has this been that they've been?
It has
unpaid?
been 2017, 2018, 2019, 20 and 21. There's like 5-6 years of taxes.
That's nuts.
So.
And he
yeah.
still owns it.
Yes. According to our records, yes.
I put a call in the city attorney, but I haven't talked to him yet. The only thing, I suppose, don't I need to do a lien search first?
Yeah, because if they assign the certificate over to the city, then the city would have to start that 90-day right of redemption process, and then you do that lien search and serve notice to everyone with a
Yeah.
recorded interest in it. So yes, you will have to do that.
So we've got a little to do, yeah.
Can he come back and pay this and? Or is this out of that range now?
No, if he could still come back and pay this, even if this is assigned over to the city, because then they start the 90-day process. Once the attorney starts that and they serve it to me, then that 90 days starts from that time. They still have those 90 days to pay it. And if they don't pay it in 90 days, so there's still a window where you can still pay it and keep it, but
Is the building habitable?
I don't believe so. Obviously, I have not been in it. Some of our public works folks, I think, have been in it in the last couple of years.
Roof bad, I mean,
Yeah, I personally don't think there's any salvage. I think it's a tear down deal. So
some of the properties he has, or he had here in town were the same way. They weren't habitable.
and you know, it'll, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, the house probably would come down and it'll just be an empty lot. It's, the location is a mixed bag. It's very, very difficult to get to.
That's my question. Okay, what was the city's plans to do with it?
Tear it down,
Tear it down. Okay,
probably, because we'll have to see if we think it's salvageable, but I just can't imagine that it is.
I think we need to direct our county attorney. We have a person that goes through and his job is to collect monies that's owed to the county's portion, and I think we need to direct him to seek.
These that work on these, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
It'd be nice to get some of the.
We gotta get this
back.
money back. We
Well,
need
because
to-
he's been given the list of some of the county tax sales before, and
Well, maybe we need to refocus that he needs to.
I can print you a list of all of the.
We
county
would
tax-
like to have this on every
We
house.
talked about that before you were.
Because I wanna do an auction where we get this stuff back in and we sell for what we have into it.
Because we tried that, what's it been? Probably 12 years ago, maybe. And they did like sealed bids, and I think we got rid of 3. Habitat for Humanity bought a couple, I think.
I think we just hire an auctioneer, just go with us and do it.
I think, yeah, talk to Adam, we can talk to Adam about it, because I know there's certain steps that you have to do it.
But I wanna follow all the.
But
laws.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I can get you a copy of the list so you can see all the ones we have.
See, we don't know about these. We don't have a clue.
Oh, we don't either.
Only time I look at it is when if I'm looking at it for possible investments and stuff, and I look at county owns that.
County has a lot of certificates.
Yeah.
Our goal would be to get him back on the tax roll.
Oh,
somehow. I mean, that helps everybody.
And a lot of them are mobile homes.
Yeah, and I got the mobile home one here, and I went and I got a check on one that checked on.
And I dealt with one of the owners of the parks that those are in this morning. Almost had to call our local. And almost call our local law enforcement. He was fun.
Yeah. Same one that was in here probably. Yeah.
What's with the little
Yeah, a little chip.
Tell me back later this week, and I'm gonna be gone to meetings, so. If any of you happen to be
They
around.
get a little, but
I told him, I said, you hit that button, cause he was getting
He's got a
close.
chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he
for some
does.
reason. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
why
he
he
does.
does. He's taking on.
What time is the appointment?
He doesn't have an appointment, he just is coming back later this week, because he didn't bring anything in, and he wanted to pay taxes on a mobile home, and he didn't bring in any information. Didn't know he knew what lot it sat on, well, he didn't tell us what lot it sat on when he got the title in his name, so we have no way of finding it, so I told him he had to bring me paperwork. He didn't.
I think they're above paying taxes.
Mhm.
Can I not pay mine?
If you want to be sold a tax.
That's another way of getting.
And then government will bail them out, not make them have anything on their debt. See, that's what to me is, he's responsible for that amount. That one. He's still owns that lease.
No, I agree. Why does everybody get out of it?
Buildings on leased land are my big pet peeve, because they don't go to tax sale and they get a small misdemeanor for not paying, and so they don't get. We've got thousands. and
It seems like we
thousands of
have
dollars.
habitual violators, always the same group.
Seems like it.
Why do we have to let them do business in our county?
You let me know what lists you want and I'll get them for you, cause I've got.
I've got them written.
Some cities are trying to purge those people, but it's difficult.
It's hard to do.
I do have the mobile home.
Okay.
She says print that so we can read, print that.
So,
To get it up. to
for
date,
Mark, we need
and
to
I'll
do,
give those to
what
you guys.
do we need to do here?
Well, I'd like to get it back on the tax roll, but I would also like to see the county get some money back in the,
County and city, both of us could use that. money.
right?
And then,
I don't know
I
how
don't
to
have a
do that.
problem tearing it down, but we still gotta hold him responsible too.
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
You know, there's.
I get what you're trying to do.
Well,
You're trying to clean your community.
yeah,
I get it.
I gotta do something with the
We get
house. You know, yes, I would like to see him held to pay, responsible. I'd like to make him responsible for tearing the house down,
The
but
harder you can make it on him, the less times he'll try to do this.
but. You know, you can't, I don't know, I guess I don't know enough about his finances to know whether. I mean, you can't get blood out of a turnip, so you can. Guess you can get a judgment against him, which would cover up other properties, but all that does is slam it against. Everybody else's
Well,
properties.
He lives in Muscatine County. Echo Avenue, and Wapples had several dealings with them in the buildings. And he's came forward on some of the things that they've pushed, but it seems like we always try to bail them out, and it just, we can't.
The only way you get anything out is take him to court.
Yep.
He will not move. Letters don't do any good. Threatens don't do any good. The judge and eyeball to eyeball is the only thing that you can get.
But do you get a reaction even from a judge,
Yes.
out of him from a judge?
We've got judgments on him before and. They slap him on the wrist the first couple of times and then they start leaning on him after he's been in there a couple of times. Sometimes you'll get him to. Trade the property, so at least you've got control of it. Waplo did that on the last one, is just to get it out of his hands, so you had control, you know?
Well, that's the reason I'm interested in doing this. I just don't figure that we get anywhere and.
It'll take quite a while. That's quite a lengthy process. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight. It takes a year or better to
Well,
get through that
And I
system.
know probably 5 years ago, we tried to do something with this when we were headed down a road.
Right.
And then he did something that
Yep.
undid everything that we were trying to do. Because we
Yep.
were on a time limit, and so then you gotta
Yep,
start.
start
all
all over. Yep.
over.
Sell it to a phantom corporation or
Or just
a
change the
family
name
member or
dollar.
something. Yep.
Like,
They're good at what they do.
gonna sell it on a contract, and so you
Yeah.
put us together a
This-
contract.
The taxes are still due whether or not you sell it.
Do whatever, yeah.
So, I mean, you can't get away from that.
Well,
Really can't sell it, the taxes are paid up.
Well, of course, what they do is they do a contract and they pick on someone that. That doesn't know that they maybe ought to do a little research before they do that. And of course, the people are gonna live in the house. And
Well, let's work together on this. What can we do as a combined effort here to,
I'm more than willing.
I mean, it's in your town. I want you to clean up your town,
Well, I hate to have to tear it down.
but we need to.
Maybe.
need to make it
Well, there'll
hard on
probably
them.
never be anything put back.
And you just don't tear them down anymore. You gotta do sampling and everything else. I'm just talking to the choir, but we need to get him responsible.
You can run a derelict building grant, and that'll help the asbestos abatement or tear down and. Can we direct it to Adam and just see kind of what we can do to,
I think we.
I
need
don't
to
know.
step
I don't
this
know the
up a
answer.
little bit, because this one here is anybody, but not just pick on him, but this is something we gotta get. This is not helping our communities and our growth and.
Well, if Adam wants to get a hold of it, we've been, of course, our city attorney Schweitzer and Bianca and Zana. Lusana, I'll tell you what, she's.
Yeah.
Yeah, mess around.
And we do have a county designated person to go out after unclaimed or expenses that we haven't got yet. And
Well,
so
in the courts,
court systems, but
We need
we
to
can
maybe-
also direct him to maybe do this.
Because the buildings on these lands were all turned over to him last fall to try and collect that, but. Seen a lot yet,
It's very difficult. I mean, it's not just
you know.
Louisa County and Columbus Junction and Wapello, it's everywhere, you know.
But this gentleman has several properties, and so I'm saying he has assets.
no, you're right.
if we get this done and can tear this house down, is the lot really a full-size lot?
I think you could rebuild on it. The only thing is,
They look like they're awful thin lots in that. area.
yeah, you know, it's the old part of town.
They're on a hill.
And to be honest with you, to physically get to it is, I mean, you walk to it, but to get a piece of
Equipment.
to it is next to impossible.
There's no back alley to that part of it.
Yeah, but it's way above.
Way higher. than
Oh,
the house.
really?
Yeah, in fact,
You can look
probably
at the
the
gutters.
back alley, you can probably look right over the roof of it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they're high, it's high. I've been down that road and it's,
I'm not sure how we get it out of there, but it doesn't do any good the way it is. You know, I'm, like I say, I'm not 100% sure I know how we're gonna get it out of there.
and if it's got good bones, it could be rebuilt too.
How do we,
Just looking at it, it does.
who do we
I
ask
don't
to
know.
figure out how to get? Where do we go? Who do we talk to?
I think we gotta talk to Adam and then,
Start with the county attorney.
Yep. And then see what we can do to make a person go after this, like, give an avenue to go back and start getting their taxes on a lot of these properties. I think we just gotta have them do their due diligence. and see-
I just don't want this to get tied up into a 2-year
No.
deal when, you know, it's just.
Well, is there, and I don't know the law, but does he have properties that are actually got some value to it?
Yes,
Yeah, yes.
I've got several in town.
I guess I don't know whether somebody, can you sue him and get a judgment, and at least that puts,
Before we need to talk to Adam.
puts a lien on those other properties in the county?
You want me to reach out to him, or do you want Selena to reach out?
We'll probably have,
Okay, I will compile, before I leave for my meeting, I'll try and print off these lists and I'll email them to Selena.
Yeah,
You want county health tax sales? Get a list of all those?
Please.
Okay, I'll get that printed off and I'll send that to Selena, so you guys can have that for next week, and then you let me know what,
You wanna
I
get
can
hold of
do.
Adam or you?
yeah, I'll get a hold of Adam and,
Okay.
yeah, send that list to our private, our
y'all,
emails too.
to your, okay, I'll just send it to all of you, and then
Yeah.
you let me know what
Okay.
I can do. Like I said, I'm gone this week to our treasurer's meetings, but
Right.
I'll have my email access and I'll be back on Monday, so.
And when you talk to him, ask him about what can we do to have like an auction type on these properties too.
Get him back on the roll.
Refresh, tell him that we did it when Sylvia was auditor and Stephanie was in there. Stephanie did it. So I don't know if he has record of that, because I know he worked with her then to get that done, but she did all the work on it, so. Yeah, that was right after I took office, so it's been a few years ago.
Well, it'd be nice to be able to attach something so that we could get the cost of removal. too.
Absolutely.
You know, because that's gonna be the big expense out of all of this.
I'm happy if he just pays them and fixes it up.
Yeah,
For you,
they
but-
won't.
Do you wanna
Well,
get us a recommendation whether or not the house is repairable or needs demolition,
Can you
that
amend
might be,
legally?
cause he'll argue and say, oh, no, that can be fixed when it's ready to fall down.
Well,
I've been down this path.
I think. We wouldn't have to go on in it now, but I believe our public works people have been in there because of water issues. I think that the last potential owner. Had a water leak in their basement, and so I think our people have
Been there.
in the last couple of years. Now, that doesn't mean I don't. And yeah, probably we're better off not physically going in.
It looks like it might have been sold on contract.
I know Wapello has
Yeah,
a derelict building kind of a thing where they can slap a sticker on it and say, hey, you can't go in, nobody's living there, you can't. And kind of stop.
See, and Ruth ends up.
You know what I'm
back
saying?
here, it's
Kinda that-
J&N
that
had,
next
and if you look
step
back
kind of
here,
thing.
things here,
You know, I
looks like it's sold on contract and
Downtown.
they'll go back here. Like it's sold
early on, I got on a council that was next to
Mhm.
our city hall, and you know, we knew it was not in good shape.
Right.
the value.
And, you know, I toyed with the idea of recommending that we go put the roof on,
$10,000.
and we didn't, and we should.
Yeah.
Cause now we own it, the city owns it. And the building's shot.
Yeah.
And we've been better off to put the roof on.
But you're better off in the city capacity to control those buildings instead of having somebody like this buy them, do nothing with them. At least you have some kind of control over whether you sell them or you knock them down, or
It had to be built.
you can guide it a little bit, you know?
Maybe 52 is when it was built.
Some folks that shouldn't. But
Brother, I'm with you.
It's a free country, so.
He owns 4 or 5 downtown, and
He's costing the local government a lot of money. That's-
Yeah. Yeah.
and he makes your town look bad because you won't do anything with it.
But every town
It's
has
like dealing together.
Yeah, I'm with you. We'll just work together and see
Try
this thing
to
resolved.
figure this out.
We're more than willing to try to do whatever. and-
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Until this morning, we didn't
Well,
know we had a tax.
Yeah.
Well, it was
I'll
your
give you
folks,
the-
it was your folks that got a hold of us, I guess we hadn't caught on to it.
All right,
But we've been wanting to do something. Anyway.
we got the dog on the trail now, so we'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
probably will. That is a good point. Well. I'll make a motion that we table it with,
I can check and see, and I can send Julie a
Yeah.
copy of the list too. You want me to send her a copy of the list too?
Next Christmas.
Okay, I will, 'cause I think there's a couple of ways. I mean,
That's in county.
Yeah. Yeah, they're county held tax sales. Yeah, I can send her. I can use-
We might find you got some on something that we're trying to get rid of.
And that's true, very possible, very possible. Yeah, no, I can look. I'll send you a copy. of
I've
it.
had 2 or 3 places that I've called up the owners and said, we'll buy it from
Yeah, well, I mean, just so you, like Sean said, have control over it.
you. Yeah, we'll buy it from you, you know, and. You know, again, it's free country, you can own real estate if you want to.
Yeah.
I haven't had much luck doing that, but.
Well, I can either, you, if you're leaving, if you want to run over, I can give you a copy or I can send it to Julie. Either way.
Yeah, if you got a copy, I'll just stop over.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna run over right now. and run
Okay.
it.
Vicky, that's gonna be trailers, commercial and
It'll
residential?
be anything that the county has a tax
Okay.
certificate,
All right.
yes, we'll look
Good.
at all of them.
All right, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and it'll give you the parcel number and on mobile homes, it'll give you the VIN number.
I think
and
we
all
should
that
probably
stuff.
put that on the next agenda too, is discuss that list.
And I can come.
I got a
over.
motion now, so right down the table with this.
All right, go ahead, what's your motion now? We'll.
I'll get that done.
I'll say,
I'll be over in a minute.
All right, sounds good. I'll get
Thank
that
you
done.
for coming over.
so repeat your motion. Brad.
My motion was to table this until we can get direction from Council Adam. Chris is gonna talk to him to see what the next step is.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion second, all in favor?
All right,
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I say, we're more than willing to
we'll figure it out.
help however we can.
We got.
It's not an easy issue then, and it just really isn't.
Well, this might turn into more than just one property for you. It may
Yeah,
turn into several.
Huge.
and Mallory did it, there was a deal, she was using an attorney, where, Marshalltown?
Marshalltown, is the one up on the hill by the Stacy Lewis, wasn't it? Or ain't Stacy anymore, but.
Yeah, but anyway, I wasn't directly involved in that stuff, but I don't know who that guy was. We could probably find out, and maybe there's some merit. But there was a process that he had us going through, you know, you gotta take a picture of it once a week or month or whatever, and how long has it been since
The grass has been mowed.
how long has it been since anybody's lived there?
Yeah,
But it was a long drawn out process, and anywhere in that process, if it's just because this was one of them, you know, he'd sell it on a contract to somebody and that'd undo the whole thing. And then you'd have to wait till that person left and then you gotta start all over again.
yeah.
Did you go by there this morning? Was it mowed? Just a good question.
I did not go by
Cause I went by the other day and I looked up where they fixed that, because they got it all seated now and it's looking good, but I never looked at the house. I didn't know we owned it, but.
yeah, it's the,
I'll be
there's a
over there
white one
today.
and then the green one to the north. It's the green.
Yep. Yep, I know the house.
Yeah. And we have mowed it. I mean, that's what some of our judges.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you
right.
guys did mow.
Well, we have put a bill against it.
Yeah.
It's
To be honest with you.
$400.
Steep as that is, you're pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Is that
well,
steep? That's a road.
Well,
Thing.
I gotta talk to our folks. I think we physically mowed it
Wow.
once or
Not with a
twice.
rider.
And I really need to just hire somebody to
Yeah.
do it. Our people shouldn't be in the lawn mowing business.
And that's what we did when we had the landscaping business out here. We hired them to go around town and home and then just send them the bill.
Yeah,
They didn't send the bill, it went on the property tax.
yeah, our Iowa River Tree
Trees.
Service, they mow.
Kind of takes you out of the loop too. You're not being accused of padding the bill or anything, you know, you're.
It's a third party.
Exactly.
And that terrace is probably 35 degree or more.
Oh, it's a son of a gun.
Deep.
There's some of those,
It's like the
that's a son of a gun.
guys are mowing it with a rope.
Yeah, some
On
of
a
them.
mower back.
So,
Thanks.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
thanks, folks.
Yeah.
stay in touch on this.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll let you know.
Like I say, if Adam wants to talk to Zana, that would be fine.
Alright.
Does 9:45 work for you?
The picture of it looks nice and loud. But it's interesting,
Yeah,
you talk.
yeah.
But
You
you see that.
don't do.
I went through that alley when they was working on that, they were digging, and you can actually look in their gutters. That's how high that alley is
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, it's,
I think I had the tow truck down that
Oh,
alley,
yeah.
reason or another, the dead end.
oh, you can get out, but.
Kind of go, I've been
That's
down
the
that,
hill, the steep hill. it comes
Yep.
out of that.
just somebody was stuck at the bottom of that
Yep.
hill.
You kind of avoid that as much. as
Yeah.
possible.
I saw that and I'm like, you can't turn around, you
It
can't
turns
do
at the bottom
nothing.
of that hill.
Well, there's even garages
On the other side of the
It's
street.
ugly.
or encroaching on the alley here.
Yeah,
Wow.
On city property alley.
I mean, that alley is narrow.
Yeah,
And it's hilly and it's, not.
Good place to go during a snow or ice storm.
right.
I just think about, they take a garbage truck down through there and that.
Oh.
I think there's telephone poles in there too, isn't
Oh,
there?
I think probably.
Oh, boy.
I try not to go down there very often.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, if you need anything on it.
Okay.
Great.
Sure.
You all done?
I think
Other than the Roxanne thing, she's not here.
Say, also thinking, I was at the transfer station yesterday, if there's anything that our city can do to help with your floodplain issue down there, let us know.
It's the DNR and we're gonna meet with them again, but yeah, I will.
You
Yeah,
know,
I think we got it. We're getting there, but
well.
I don't think they like it and they're trying to figure out a way to get rid of it. What I think.
Do the DNR.
Yeah.
yeah. They say there's not.
They want to make it life hard on us.
Well, why would they want to get rid of it though?
I don't think they let us stick in our trash somewhere else. My opinion.
I don't know enough about it, but,
We have, but why'd they have us close our landfills 20, 30 years ago?
I was
It's
always
taking
under,
it to Illinois. You don't like it.
We did.
God, I don't believe the
We pulled
trash.
the trigger.
category.
It
It is, it
That's
is.
what I
I think
always
it's
done.
Homeland Security will tell you that.
I think they probably would.
Everything's all except for
using there.
I was gonna say, you probably could still be using it versus having to pay for it to be closed.
Yeah, I don't know where I know. We didn't own it.
Adam's letter.
We bought it after we closed it out, probably. Yeah, it wasn't ours, it was land.
Like I say, even on anything like that,
There you
let
go.
us know.
Okay, thank you.
That I would, I don't know where Roxanne, did she?
No, she-
Roxanne sent an email that she was not able to,
Yeah.
she had a previous meeting, and so I printed out.
Here's her report if you wanna read it. Sean's going to
The meeting today.
the board meeting today. This that we just signed, Adam's letter, I'll put in the packet.
Yes, and then I'll mail that today, Chris.
Okay.
I see this too. You might get that up there too, the members. It still shows the old members.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mentioned to her last meeting that Randy was still on there.
Yeah.
And she said she was gonna update it, but I'll mention it again.
And the website is updated.
We don't get a lot of people show up, but we get just enough usually for a quarter.
We don't get a full.
It's really close.
Hmm.
Lynn usually shows up, I show up and. One other guy, I can't
That's
remember
only a
his
couple,
name,
3 years we had
older
everybody.
guy,
That's Board of Health.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Joanne.
Uh,
Joanne's there.
She wasn't there last time.
Oh, she was in the.
She might have been on
vacation.
Okay, well, that's why.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep this for my conference with Adam on what we just talked about. We'll get updated more next week from Sean on Board of Health.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Usually, yeah.
In Roxanne's email, I wanted to let you guys know next week is Nurses Week. I just wanted to give them a shout out
Yeah.
because they do good work.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
We have sent them a breakfast pizza on the Nurses Week. A bunch of old time one item.
Thank you, would be good.
Yeah.
Then we miss their National Treasury Week and National Auditors Week and National
Supervisor.
Supervisor.
No.
They have that every week.
It's beat on us, Supervisor Week every day.
National newspaper reporter week.
Glad you guys showed up.
Hey, and then it's Farmers Week coming up anytime, I know. Then fix your favorite old car week.
Right.
Well, with all, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, yeah, motion is second, all in favor, say aye. Well, that concludes.
This week. Finally ditched the coat and the sweatshirt. Although I could have used the sweatshirt this morning. It's cold.
Long
A
sleeve.
little chilly.
I see the sun's out finally.
How?